Hey guys, welcome back to Tales from the Junkyard. Today we're going to be working on the Fiero. We're going to do a little bit of maintenance. I'm going to do a sort of month and a half in review of having this vehicle, and we're going to go over the things that are wrong with it and the things that I'm going to try to fix today. I was going to do a video on the Barracuda, but unfortunately that ended up being a little bit of a mess, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the video. But for now, we're going to do the Fiero. So I said let's get to it. Alright, so like I said, guys, we'll be working on this thing today. And I do apologize for the darkness going on over here. I am inside my garage, and the reason for that is it's kind of cold out there. So I'll be doing this in here, and it's a little quieter for me to record this video. Anyway, we're going to be doing minor things, honestly. I'm going to be replacing the wires, the ignition wires on this, which shouldn't be too hard on this side, but that other side over there, well, let's just hope this meat hook can get back there. Anyway, we're gonna snake everything together, right? Replace the spark plugs while we're at it. And I found out that this thing has a bit of an exhaust leak. Now, when I first did my review of this vehicle, and I'll leave in a link up in the description, as well as a link on top of the video there, and I noticed that when I was driving it around, there's a bit of an exhaust leak, and it slowly started getting worse and worse. Not so much that the car doesn't perform correctly, it just sounds not right, you know? So I did a little digging earlier, and I found out where it's coming from, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Now you'll notice this little junction here. There we go. This little pod right there that I'm looking at, and that piece there, this is the EGR part of the Fiero, the exhaust recirculation system, the emissions basically for California over here, and pretty much the rest of the world now. And that little piece down there, let me see if I can get any closer. You see that? That's not supposed to have a gap there. That's supposed to be a gasket. Well, gee, I wonder where my exhaust lead's coming from. So we're going to be replacing that today. Hopefully these bolts stay where they need to stay and nothing gets broken. Obviously anti-seize, all that good stuff. But yeah, we'll be replacing that. I'll also be tightening up whatever bolts that need to be tightened. You never know. I mean, obviously this car ran fine, but just in case, I'm going to go over anything else that's wrong with this thing. I mean, obviously it looks pretty good. Nothing's major problems. And the reason I'm changing the spark plug wires is I noticed a couple of these down here were actually sparking against the armatures. The little sleeves, the metal sleeves you see there, they were kind of sparking against each other. So yeah, I think I need to replace those. But anyway, might be a short video, might be a long video. I don't really know. So yeah, I'll get started. Come on. Yeah, I got this. Yeah, there. Maybe. Come on. There we go. Yep. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Jesus. Yeah. Oh, God. Get him stuck. Come on. All right. Just gotta snake this in there. Come on, tiny hands. You got this. Come on. You guys ever find yourself in the middle of a project wondering what mistakes you made to get here? No? Just me? Okay. All right, so the spark plugs and the spark plug wires are in. So new wires in there, and as you can tell, you know, easy, non-dirty job. It's kind of hard to get my hands back there, but other than that, the wires are in. I actually replaced every wire with at the same time as each spark plug. That way, it was just, you know, it did it all at once. It was just got it all the way instead of having to go back around and do it again. So it's all done. Done with that. Now we're gonna do the Egr exhaust deal here. Hopefully get that done a lot simpler than this nightmare. Okay, so replacing the Egr gasket, pretty simple. Gonna use a 10 to take these off. Should be pretty simple. Famous last words. Okay, there we go. All right. That's down. That's loose. See this other one? Please cooperate. All right, so look at this. Yeah, there was barely any gasket left. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean this flange surface up a little bit and just make sure all the gasket material's out of this thing. Put the new gasket that I have over there, the box over there, if you can't see it, there it is, that long brown box that has new gaskets that I can put into here. Oh, right here. So, all right, cool. Well, let me get that done. All right, so the gasket's in and all tightened to the necessary specs. Wires are in, spark plugs are in. Everything seems to be okay. Nothing's falling out. I did have to take off this boot, so make sure that's nice and tight. And it's time for testing. All right, let's do it. All right, let's see how this bad boy responds. Okay, first test. Start after the tune-up. Okay, let that prime up a little bit. Sounds pretty good. Vitals are working all right. All right, I'm gonna let this thing warm up a little bit and we should be good to go. All right, let's go for a test drive. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, okay. So first test drive after the first tune-up of this thing that I don't think anyone's done in a while. Runs fine. It actually idles a little better. I will say that. I haven't power driven it just yet. We're gonna do that in a minute, but it runs perfect. I didn't mess up the wiring, which is very important. And yeah, everything seems to be working perfectly fine. Actually feels like it's got a little bit more oomph to it, which I mean is to be expected. It's been tuned up. And if I'm being honest, the spark plugs weren't horrible. They look worse than they really are. I'll show you guys in a little bit, but yeah, I mean, works fine to me. Man, always amazes me how well this thing handles. You know, on paper, this is supposed to not be all that great. If we're being honest here, this thing's built pretty well for what it is. It is a special. The suspension is specially made for this car in this year, but honestly, it's still kind of a partsman special. It's not entirely a partsman special like the first generation was, or well, the first years of this was. Like this year was, you know, bespoke parts and things, but yeah, like it's amazing how well this thing does. You know, it's only got 140 horsepower, and that's a loud V6 Camaro. You look at it and it goes, well, this thing's slow and it can't be that fast and it can't be that responsive. It'll surprise you. You know, yeah, it's got what, 2,700 pounds. You know, it's almost as heavy, if not a little heavier than my Barracuda. And I don't know if it's the gearing or maybe the engine's just done in a way where it's more for torque, but this thing, it moves really good. Wow, it's got a lot of response. Yeah, all right, she's moving. I'm gonna drop it a gear just to see how it responds. Woohoo! Yeah! I'm not kidding you guys. I feel like it picked up a cylinder or two, to be honest. Wow. It goes to show what a difference a tune-up makes, you know? Oh man, I'm really happy with this. This is really nice. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we did good. The exhaust is still leaking a little bit. I gotta figure out where that's from. It's from the cabin side, I guess you could say, because the engine's sideways. Other than that, it's mostly gone. Just I can still hear it. It's possible that the exhaust manifold gasket's gone. You know, it wasn't. I had to tighten it up a little bit. It was a little loose, not really. So it's either that or it's highly suspect that it might be the actual exhaust manifold itself that's messed up. Which, you know, it's possible. It happens. This thing's old. If it is messed up, it isn't an engine out to fix it. However, I am gonna beat up my hands just trying to get that exhaust manifold out. So, fun times. We'll see what I do, but I think we're good. Let's see, let's give it a little bit more here. Oh my God. Let's go. Wow. I really woke this thing up. Oh my Lord. This thing's alive. Woo. All right. Success. Success. See you guys back at the ranch. All right, and we're back at the garage, and guys, I'm super happy with the result of the tune-up and some of the tightening up and stuff. I mean, it really woke this car up, so I'm gonna keep driving it. Actually, let me show you real quick why I decided to do the tune-up, okay? Give me 1 second here. Here's one of the spark plugs that I took out of this car. And as you can see, they kind of look a little raggedy. little on the old side. Now let me get a little better view of this. There we go. So I don't remember an earlier video we were talking about ignition systems and the one that we put in my dad's car, and you'll notice how this is a colder plug. The ones that I put in the car, the ones that it calls for, are actually hotter plugs. I'm gonna assume that the gentleman who put these in his car when he originally had it, the Fiero, put a colder plug because he lived in a hotter environment, which that makes sense. But anyway, the plugs it calls for are a little bit hotter, meaning that the ceramic is a little bit out. But you notice how the bottom, I mean, there was something going on with oil and rust. Some of these look even worse. The important part is this and the ceramic, right? So the electrodes all look pretty good. Let's see here, let me focus. There we are. Okay. See, the electrodes look not too horrible. They were working, they're not fouled. So yeah, I mean, the car ran fine, but I still needed to do it. It's done, and now I can use these as a guide. And yeah, so I'm happy with it. That's success. And as far as the Barracuda is concerned, I will be finishing that pretty soon. I just need to get some wiring done and test, and we should be good. So I will be completing the gauges on this vehicle, and pretty much all my projects for the year should be done. They're never done. Nothing's ever done. But, you know, as far as I wanted to get anyway. So, yeah, that should be coming up pretty soon. One other thing I wanted to go over is owning that Fiero. Now, the Fiero is really cool. I like the car. I have no real complaints personally with the vehicle. I will say that living with it hasn't been as hard as I thought it would be. However, it also is harder than I thought it would be to work on. Getting those spark plugs in and out of the other side, the cabin side of it, right, was fun, to say the least. But, I mean, thankfully my hands are small enough. I don't know what that says about me. But they were small enough for me to snake them in and get the spark plugs and the spark plug wires out. And as you saw in the video, that wasn't the easiest thing to do. But it's done. It's doable. It's better than what I can say for a lot of front-wheel drive cars nowadays. So, you know, there's that. But it was pretty simple to do. Didn't really take me forever. And the only reason I took forever is because I took my time with it. You know, I replaced the wires and all that. So, yeah, overall, I think it's good. As far as my review of the vehicle, having it for a couple of months already and driving it around, I'm more in love with the thing than when I got it. Even now now that it's a little quicker because of the tune-up, oh my god. I love that car. That's really, really cool. It's way better than any of the magazines say it is. You have to experience the car. It's really, really cool. And if you guys ever get a chance to, pick one up. They're freaking awesome. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. This was awesome. Definite learning experience for me. And I hope you guys learned something too. So if you guys like what I'm doing here, if you guys like the content that I'm putting out on my channel, please consider giving a like, a share, and subscribe. And remember to hit that bell notification, because otherwise you may not get the notification that I put out a video anyway. So yeah, guys, see you next time.